Hi, in this section, we will be learning about functional programming for applications. The first topic of this section is implementing a word counter. Going forward, we will be covering the following topics: what is a word counter, and implementing a word counter using functional programming in Python. So let's go ahead. So first, what is a word counter? A word counter is a program that returns the count of words in a string, file, etc. in the form of a dictionary. The keys of the dictionary are the words and the value is the count of the words in the string or file. For example, if we have this string as input, so this is a string and this is another string. So these are two strings. So the output would be this has count 2. So 1 and 2. Is occurring twice as well. Is and is. A is occurring once. String is occurring twice and another is occurring once. So let's go to the coding part. First, we'll import these modules which we'll be using later. So we'll go over the functions one by one. First is the split line function, which takes a string as input and splits it into a list of words. So we have this string, this is a string, and the output should be this. So we do perform the split function with space as argument to the split function. Next, we need to convert all the words to lowercase. So if the input is a list of words, then the output should be the same list of words, but the words should all be in lowercase, like this. So we perform map, and in map we pass a lower function using the lambda expression, and we pass the list of words. Remember that map returns a map object, so we need to convert it into a list before returning. There might also be a case where there might be empty spaces in the words itself. So this function takes a list of words and removes empty spaces from each words. Similar to this lower function, we just changed the function in the lambda expression from lower to strip. Next, we have the remove empty strings function. So what this function does is, suppose we have a list of words in which there might be empty strings like this and this. So we need to remove these empty strings and return the leftover words. So in this case, we can use the filter function, which filters the words based on the lambda expression or the function passed here. Finally, this is a function to remove punctuation from a string. This function we have used many times in the previous videos. So we need the regular expression module for this. So suppose if the input is YOLO 3 times exclamation mark, hello, comma, dot, hash, world, question mark, and the outputs would simply be YOLO, hello world. All the punctuations would be removed. Now this is an important function here. Now suppose after all the above operations are performed, we have a list of words like hello world, hello YOLO world. We need to group them together. For this, we can use the itertools.groupby function. So what this does is, if we pass this list of words inside this itertools.groupby, something like this will return the word along with a list of the same word repeated the number of times it occurs in the list. Also, while passing any list to itertools.groupby, you must sort the list to ensure that the correct output is returned. So In this case, hello occurs twice, world occurs twice, and YOLO occurs only once. So we perform group by over the sorted list of words. So this is the function get word count. So the output of this function group words is passed into this function. So what we do is we perform a simple map operation with the lambda expression as follows. We take the first element of this expression, and so in this case this will be the word whose which is repeated here. So this will be x0, and then we pass the length of the list. So suppose if this whole thing is x, so you can think of it as a list or a tuple if you want. So the first element is hello and the second element is this list. So the length of this list returns its count. Then we pass this map expression back after converting it into a list. So suppose if we have this string hello, this is a string, this is a good string, and hello world. First we remove the punctuation. So we pass the mystr into the remove punctuation. Then we split the words. So this remove underscore punct is passed as input to split line. Then we lower and trim the words. So what I'm doing here is inside trim lines I am passing as input convert underscore lower words list. So the output of this convert underscore lower is passed as input to trim lines. So first the words are lowered and then they are trimmed. Finally, I remove the empty strings from this lowered and trimmed list. Then I group the words. And finally, I perform get word count over the grouped words. So the output is something like this. Notice here that this is a tuple. So in this case, A occurs twice. So A is occurring twice, yes. Good is occurring once, so it is 1. So hello is occurring twice, yes. Notice that this has been lowered. So this is different from this in the sense that the first T is capital, but since we have lowered this, both this are considered as equal. So this was an example of word count. You can try to implement it in other ways as well. I can give you 2 hints. First is you can make use of itertools.chain, and you can also try functional composition, which will be discussed in the next section. So a quick recap of what we have learned. A word counter returns the count of words in a string, file, etc. And we did a hands-on implementation of word counter. That's it for this lecture.